Hello again. Welcome to the first video in the series COVID 101. Today I would like to talk to you about everyone's favorite, the spike protein. You've heard about it. Most people don't quite understand what it is. Let me start out by saying that I'm a big fan of analogies and metaphors. So stick with me. I think you might find this very helpful. Let's think of the virus, SARS-CoV-2, SARS standing for severe acute respiratory syndrome. CO is a reference to the coronavirus, and 2 because it's the second iteration. The first SARS-CoV-1 was the original SARS. So we have SARS-CoV-2, a virus. Let's say for the sake of argument that SARS-CoV-2 looks like this, a key, okay? And this part of the key here is the spike protein. And the rest of the key is sort of the payload. The virus has to get inside a cell. The spike protein is the portion of the virus that allows the virus to get inside the cell. Now, all viruses have to do this. They all have to get inside a cell in order to replicate. That's what they want to do. They have to get inside, hijack the machinery, and make more copies of themselves. So in the case of the SARS-CoV-2, we have another key. This is the SARS-CoV-2 key itself. We have the spike protein, and we have a lock. So, a lock. Let's pretend, for the sake of argument, that this is a human cell and that it lines the upper respiratory tract, the airway, the lungs. These are the cells that this virus wants to get into. The spike protein here, that part of it, is configured in such a way that it can get into the lock. Got to change it around. Here we go. Gets in the lock. Okay? That's not the end of the story, is it? The key fits the lock. Wonderful. You need another mechanism. It's called furin. So you came here to learn about spike protein, and you're going to learn about two things. Real smart, okay? So you've got the spike protein, which fits it into the lock, and furin turns the key. So now it gets in. Okay? Now, this part of the lock, this is the receptor, okay? This, in the human cells that line the upper airway, this is the ACE2 receptor. You'll find this receptor in other tissues of the body, but for the sake of the present discussion, this is the receptor, and there's the spike protein, there's the virus. It gets in, furin turns it, it's inside, now it can replicate. Okay. You've heard probably about the Delta variant. So what's the Delta variant? Well, the spike protein can undergo changes in its configuration, just like different keys that look similar. This key looks pretty similar, right? But this part of the key has been changed so it fits another lock. You can get mutations, genetic mutations in the spike protein of the SARS-CoV-2 virus so that it fits the lock more tightly, stays there for a longer period of time. Perhaps there's been a mutation in the furin, okay, which allows it to turn the key and get in faster. In fact, with the Delta variant, what we have found is that there are 4 beneficial mutations in the spike protein and 1 beneficial mutation in the furin protein. And that has allowed the Delta variant of SARS-CoV-2 to get into cells more effectively. And if it gets inside the cell more effectively, it can reproduce more effectively. The mutations, the genetic mutations, are random. but their effects are rather adaptive, so that there might be a random mutation, but if it provides an advantage, as the delta mutations do, then you're going to have more delta viruses. They get in, they replicate at higher rates, and now we have delta, right? More infectious, and we'll see to what extent it produces more morbidity, more symptoms, more severe disease, and whether or not it increases mortality. The data are not clear yet about mortality. The preliminary data with regard to the ability of the Delta variant to create more disease seems to be true, and that we're seeing more hospitalizations in the countries that are reporting a spike in Delta variant. We're seeing more hospitalizations. So that's it for the spike protein. Now you know about the spike protein. Now you know about furin, which actually unlocks it and gets the whole virus inside the cell. And when you hear conversations about Delta plus, yet another mutation in the Delta variant that allows it to get in even more so, or you understand conversations about the original Wuhan 1 spike protein and the alpha protein and so on and so forth, now you understand what they're talking about, and you can proceed with the conversation. Thanks so much for joining me. Remember, there are two tried and true medicines: love and mercy. Until next time, God bless.